Huh?
I forgot you had the headphones on there.
Yeah.
Just keep over for it.
Yeah, that's a pretty fancy hookup you got there. Jerry, I don't know what Jerry did to get that after him, but he's a pretty handy guy, yeah. Jerry. He must have. What's this thing that's there?
WTOC AM, W236CR, Indianapolis. Get ready for a whole new level of inspiration, Indianapolis. Tune in to Praise AM 1310, 95.1, Indy's inspiration station, and let your spirit soar.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Unity in the Community on this beautiful Saturday afternoon, downtown Monument Circle. It's beautiful out here. Another beautiful day in the city of Indianapolis. We have been enjoying several beautiful days. It's almost like not living in Indianapolis. And what I mean by that is whenever I've traveled to warmer places this time of year, the weather is just wonderful, and we have just had beautiful weather in Indianapolis over these last few weeks, and I am grateful. We'll see what happens going out into the holidays up to the first of the year. The winters have not been too bad in Indianapolis over the last few years. All the weather pattern changes that have happened over the last few years. So we'll see what happens. But today is really, really nice. Hopefully, you're out enjoying some kind of nature. Get out and enjoy. It's a great day to be standing in line for early voting, too. On my way in to the studio, I noticed down at the City County building where you can early vote today and for the next several days heading up to election day. And in fact, many are encouraging that folks vote early for a variety of reasons. But you can vote early, get out there today. The lines down the City County building were kind of long, not terribly long. They're not winding around the building or anything like that, but they were long and parking spaces were few. But you can vote early and make a difference. Don't think that your vote does not make a difference, because it does. The number to call to be a part of today's show and to talk to our very special guest today is 317-972-3008. Again, that's 317-972-3008. I want to pray for you as we move into today's show. Father, we thank you. We praise you for this opportunity that we have to share. Your word says that we're to work for the peace of the city. When the city has peace, then we will all have peace. You've also instructed us to pray for those who are in authority, from the White House all the way down to the mayor's office. And so we pray for our governing officials, local, federal, and state officials, that they would do the job that they've been given to do with great accuracy. We pray, Father God, that they would be able to do those things that will bring peace to our cities, to our nation. And we give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen. A lot of very important races are going on throughout the state and, of course, for our country. And you want to be an informed voter, at least in America. A lot of times get caught up in personalities. And certainly the person who is running for the office is important, and to find out what they stand for, who they are. But also you want to check out the platforms. The two major parties in America currently are the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. Has not always been that way. And a lot of people don't know this, but the Democrat and the Republican Party used to be one party. early on. It was the Democratic Republican Party until there were some issues over civil rights. And so then you had the Republican Party and the Democrat Party split. But before that, um, those two parties were together. But now, obviously, they are not. And however, we all live in the same country. And so I have a candidate in the building for Congress, District 7, John Smits is here. And he is a Republican candidate running for Indiana's 7th congressional district, representing most of Indianapolis. He is challenging Democratic incumbent Congressman Andre Carson, who will be coming on before Election Day also in the 2024 election. John's career background includes experience as a masonry contractor, and before the show, we were talking about some work that he's doing down here in Indianapolis and around town. Business owner, community advocate. He emphasizes as a key strength in his campaign, especially when discussing public infrastructure and transit issues. John Smits has expressed concerns over public transportation projects in Indianapolis, criticizing the planning and sustainability of bus lines like the Blue Line. He also highlights the importance of better management and design in future infrastructure projects, drawing on his construction experience, of course, to advocate for practical solutions. His platform, as we understand it, and he'll say more about, touches on several other key issues, including improving healthcare access, addressing Medicare challenges, managing retirement care facilities more effectively. Smits aims to bring a pragmatic approach to politics by leveraging his business and construction background, contrasting this with the dominance of career politicians and legal professionals in government roles. And he is here to greet you. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. It is a beautiful day out. It's like Chamber of Commerce weather today.
Right. And you, I did mention you also have is it daily show?
No, we have, it's called Mouthwash Talk Show. It's a minty fresh take on
And I've
politics.
been on that show.
Yeah, you did. When we were mayor, we tried to give everyone an opportunity.
Yeah.
Our show has a Libertarian, a Democrat, and a Republican on the panel. I'm the host. So a lot of times I don't even have to give my opinion, which sometimes is safe. But we're on Tuesday nights at 9. I think this Tuesday we're going to have Randy Niedermeyer on. He's running for the U.S. Congress in the 1st District against Frank Mervar. It's sort of the same sort of situation I have. I think he's got a little closer numbers than this broad range that I have. But you did mention working downtown. We are actually laying block today. One of my crews is laying block on the old jail, which used to be Service Supply for us old people that remember that. They're going to be condos now. So now if you go to jail, you could say you're going to the condo downtown.
So they're converting that into condominiums, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
It was sort of weird when I went in there to go. They had the bars up, and then they had the phone that you talked on, and they had cells that they put in there, and they were taking them out. And I was looking in there, I mean, it's just like, I don't think I ever want to go to jail. I'm just saying it just made me feel claustrophobic. It made me feel confined. And that's unfortunately, we have a lot of folks that are in that situation. And
You think they'll be able to rent those out? Lisa?
I'll tell you what, I did elevator shafts on the Maxwell building over here on East Street and I think Ohio. And it was probably 15 years ago. And I'm thinking, who in the world is going to live downtown? And then all of a sudden that leased up, and you see where we are. A lot of people living downtown. So I know some people like that little catch, that's the old jail.
Yeah.
Or you could just say it's the old nuts and bolts place, the Service Supply that's had all those nuts and bolts over the years.
Yeah. Well, you're running for Congress.
Yeah.
And what motivated you to do that?
Well, it's sort of an interesting, I never have just a simple story, James. It's the person who won the primary, Jen Pace, she passed away, got on the ballot, and then won. So we had a caucus about 4 months ago, and I decided that, since I had helped Jen with her campaign 2 years previous, and we also had done her memorial at our art center because she passed away suddenly of a heart attack, and her kids didn't have a place to do it. So we opened up our art center, did the memorial, and even then I didn't even think, let's run for this. But we did our campaign for getting precinct committeemen's committeeman for the Republican Party because it is down to the bare bones.
Mhm.
And as you know, as running for mayor, you got a lot of support, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's cool.
So, but so we decided, hey, let's give this a try. Her spirit would just sort of tell him, hey, you got to pick up this torch and do this. And we need strong candidates in Marion County, even if we may not win, or may not win, we still need strong candidates. There was 10 city county council positions. There was no challenger for Republican.
Mhm.
Sends a message to the folks in Marion County that Republican Party's given up on it. And what needs to happen is we need to get revitalized. And one of the things that our party touts, it's a big tent, but I don't see any actions to back that up. It's like reading the Bible. If you read the Bible, and you don't apply it, what good is it?
Yeah.
So, actions speak louder than words. So part of my deal is that I want to have the Republican Party look more like Marion County.
Mhm.
I say, this is radio, but I'm 63-year-old white dude, so want it to look like a bunch of old white people. That's what we've ended up. It's what we're pretty much down to. So I want to actually put a door on that tent and invite people in. And your voice, your opinion matters. So that's the goal of the underlying goal of this campaign. I know it's a long shot. I'm an underdog, but I think we have great ideas. And I'm a hard worker out in the community, going everywhere. I'm going places Republicans don't go.
Mhm.
And it's interesting how neglected those areas are. And I want to highlight those areas, serve everybody, not just certain people.
You've got about an estimated 748,000 people, according to 2022 population demographics in the 7th congressional district. So that's a lot of folks
It's a lot of
that
folks.
you would be representing. So what are you going to do to build on what Congressman Carson has done over the years? What is your plan to help the folks in the 7th district?
Well, I plan on helping more people. And I'll give you an example. A year and a half ago, I contacted Andre's office about the floodplain in Mars Hill. There's 628 people that are affected by this. They have to have flood insurance. I had another gentleman, he started fixing his house up. He got red tagged. And in 3 years of trying to fight with the city, he's gonna have to tear his house down in a couple weeks because he didn't follow those rules, but he didn't know. So
Because he's in the floodway.
he's in the floodplain. If we could get out of the floodplain, which I have a plan to get us out of the floodplain, if I could get my state representative or somebody of the mayor or just anyone to listen. I'm just so frustrated that some people don't listen. They listen to certain people,
Mhm.
but they don't listen to a community leader that's trying to fix something in our neighborhood. And if we could get that floodplain fixed, which the remediation that I plan on doing, it would do it. It would get us out of that floodplain, and our neighbors. I live in Mars Hill as well. Our neighbors wouldn't have to have flood insurance. They spend thousands of dollars every year for flood insurance that really, this flood map is just drawn by FEMA. We've never seen water up that high. We've never seen any of that. They sort of expanded it in 2018 to include more people, and it just seems like it's a government that's not really helping. And a lot of my neighbors are poor. They can't afford to do a lot. And if they want to fix up their house, they can't because of the floodplain rules. Because you cannot fix up your house more than a certain value and one time only and expansion. And so you're sort of trapped with what you have. You can't add on another room. Can't do it.
Mhm.
So that's the frustrating part that I have. So I want to build on that. I know your question was, what are you gonna do? I want to get more and serve better. I mean, if you don't have another candidate that's better to go to, then why would you go to that person? And I'm telling you, I'm better to go to because the work I do and the places I go and I'm not afraid to talk to anyone.
Mhm.
So that's sort of my thing.
So a lot to do, of course, in that district. And another question for you would be, should you win, what would be your experience, the experience that you bring to the position? Have you had any political experience? You're a business owner, of course,
Yeah.
that's important. But have you had any governing experience at all that would be helpful?
Well, I was, officers in my fraternity in college and those type of things. And sometimes that was an experiment in its own right to try to get, guys to clean the house and do what they're supposed to do. But as far as government, I started a utility from scratch, so I had to go through the IURC process, and I've been around government a lot to see how it works and doesn't work. And a lot of times it's a lot of work to be done that doesn't really add to the project.
Mhm.
So I'm an efficiency guy, if I don't run my business efficiently, I don't make any money. So that's personal to me. Just the fact of the leadership that I bring with whatever I've done, whether it's running track, college, bike racing, or running a business, or, helping a community, or, rebuilding a fraternity, whatever it is, I've always been a leader in that. And I would not expect anything different in that congressional role, is to be a leader. And honestly, if this upset happens, it'd be a major upset. It would be heard across the country. We would have a voice. People would say, wow, that guy's got a voice. He must have something that's good. And my thing is, I want to be able to leverage that to listen to the people, to listen to what you need. We have unbelievable murder rate here in Indianapolis. We have roads that some are getting fixed. Mine's not getting fixed.
Mhm.
We have people in floodplains. We have people that are struggling. Inflation's just burning up the poor people and the elderly. These are the type of things that we have to have somebody that's going to be here in the community and go out and listen and get those things fixed. And that's what I do. I hope you can see that, hear that drive and that passion in my voice here, that we have got to do this. We cannot be a no-show politician. You have to be in the community to listen to what the community needs.
So as a business owner, certainly you provide jobs. Any plans to attract new jobs or industries to the congressional district 7? And
You can't start a business with $5,000. Well, I started my business with a wheelbarrow and a laborer, and that was $5,000. So if you do the work, you can get there from here. But as far as cutting through red tape, our permitting process. Now, this is a local issue, but it's one I've been working on for about 5 years, and another one that I've had no love from the city. No, they tell me, oh, we like your proposal, and I get through the process, and then those guys quit.
Mhm.
And I start all over again. But permitting process and business neighborhood services, it needs to be fixed. It needs to be streamlined. It needs to be take less time, and that would excite people to build things. And in my proposal, we talk about getting rid of abandoned houses, and the way we do that is we give them a break if they fix them up. But if they don't fix it up, we put a heavy tariff on them. Right now, you have a boarded up house, you pay minimum property taxes.
Mhm.
And so why unboard it? I mean, I have a property now. Until the system gets fixed, I will not unboard it. I cannot go through this process. I just pull my hair out every time I try to get a permit with the city, go through the process. And it's frustrating. It's just more government that's supposed to be working for us that's not. And that's one of the things that I would really, really work on, is making the process easier, simpler for our residents. And that's going to translate to business owners, and right up the stream, people are going to come work here. They want to build their projects here.
All right, 317-972-3008. 317-972-3008. Candidate for Congressional District 7, John Smits, is here. If you have questions for him, excuse me. Again, that's 317-972-3008, 317-972-3008. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more with John Smits. We're still on here.
Oh, okay.
November 5th is right around the
Oh,
corner.
hold on, take out my shirt.
We have the power.
You got quite a following on your Facebook
Key
stuff.
issues in every election increasingly relates to your day-to-day life. Stand up for your beliefs and values. And on November 5th, get out
Crazy how long it takes to
not
get
happy
something
about the
going.
current state of affairs in our country.
My left and liberal people, they turned on me. They would know they're a snake and they bite you, don't be surprised.
On November 5th,
And so, yeah, it is.
you believe in.
And because we try to give everybody's voice.
that outcomes and
Critics, they get triggered
make mistakes and get
by
out and vote.
whatever they get.
Voting is one of our most important rights as citizens in the U.S. It's now our turn to stand up and vote to preserve this right. Who came before us.
So hopefully, we actually got some callers in. I think it's some questions that way, but I want to talk about your run and how uh, part of the thing is, you really didn't feel like that in support from the party. So that's
We'll talk about you.
yeah, I know. I'm not gonna do it.
175.
You and
Episodes we did.
I got some questions.
TV, where you can now watch all the episodes of Class.
Infrastructure, transportation. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few more minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Public
Eligible
safety.
Hoosiers,
Talk about-
listen up. Election Day is November 5th. This is a reminder from the.
I definitely want to talk about the
Get to the polls and vote.
You see how
Indiana's
it's
election
higher
season
in
is
the office, so
here
that's
and
your feet.
transparent. Go to indianavoters.com to find.
That's
all
my
the
frustration.
information.
All I had to do was meet with me a year
And
ago.
information
Still on.
on election day.
Are we still on that?
Vote count. Election Day,
Okay.
November
Okay, can they hear me through that?
5th.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's what frustrates
Secretary
me
of State.
with the whole thing is
Listen to
same
the-
with the state representative.
Each
He-
Saturday.
5 years he hadn't spoken, he will not speak,
Praise
to me,
in
put his hand up.
1310.
Says, go on, John.
I see, Congressman Carson.
Diana Rice Wilkerson and
What do you
Jack
see?
Bradley are
He
your.
goes to a lot of events.
I've not seen about one thing.
It just, it may depend on what you want to.
I went to the DJ thing over there by the, on Martin Luther.
And he goes to a lot.
As one of the best employers.
He may not make all of them.
And the health system in Indiana for
Home
community
and walk for
benefit.
the day, but that was something out there.
This organization provides excellent benefits.
But I was
don't-
job fair, it was job fair and
Leadership support.
Valerie McRae's.
Career
and
Eskenazi Health can benefit
nephew
you
came through.
by visiting
And I got stuff with the bricklayer doing that.
Oh, really?
Better guy, so, I mean, that's the total difference, he may have come and spoke at that, but I have got people.
This is Jamal. And the
So,
little thing that I love about the
I mean,
Chick-fil-A.
it's every contrast there.
Chicken
If
sandwich.
somebody says,
I go back and forth from the spicy fillet to the original
it's
fillet.
like-
Get into the sweet. Yes. The honey. Then you have
if
the.
I get elected, am I gonna cut you off? No, I'm not, I'm gonna make it better, I'm gonna do it, I will do the job better.
Honey pepper pimento chicken sandwich is
It's
picked
just
by
my
Joe,
nature.
the original
I don't want-
spicy fillet. And for a limited time.
I want to be the best, I want District 7 to be the best one in all country, I want it.
Members, it's here.
Yeah,
Milo's
it's big.
Sports
It
Weekdays.
goes all the way up to guys, all the way to Marcel with those peasants. Yeah, 2/3.
Items, including
No, the district was wrong the other way.
and ladders.
It's
So what are you
the
waiting
big
for?
thing.
Join for free today and get
That's
instant
where the
access to
mostly the
Milo's
Republican
Rewards Week deals.
area is
Lowe's
on
knows
the
even through.
I'm not quite
technically
populated,
populated. See Lowe's.com
pretty close.
terms for details.
but
Subject
that's
to
a lot
change.
of people, so.
Is your pet a digging
Got
enthusiast, escapers, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe escaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escaper,
Talk about a little
our
bit about
personalized
faith,
pet
too.
methods
Talk a little
keep
bit
them
about
safe
faith.
and sound at home.
About,
Counter surfer,
yeah, about
No.
faith, it's like.
we
you're
know
working
how to
some-
keep
some
cheese
faith.
thieves at
I'm a
bay.
licensed
Invisible
minister.
Fence brand,
I didn't
giving
know.
solutions for
I know, I try to keep it a secret.
your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
All right, welcome back. Hopefully you're enjoying all the wonderful things that are happening in Indianapolis today. It's a wonderful city to live in. I think we're probably going to see some more folks from Florida moving into our area. Indianapolis is becoming more and more of a destination for folks because of the low cost of living here. And some Floridians are tired of the hurricanes and high premiums on flood insurance. Of course, living by the water like that, it's understandable. So I was reading something the other day that many of them are going to be moving north. I think Indianapolis might be one of those cities that some of those folks might move to. And of course, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, Indianapolis's weather has changed to feel like almost New Orleans. When I've gone out to New Orleans this time of year, November, December, and January. I think last year in Indianapolis, I got my snow shoveled out once because we just didn't have a lot of snow like we used to have. And so if that continues, I think a lot of people who have moved to places like Florida may move back into Indianapolis, but we'll have to wait and see. We're here with John Smits, who is a candidate for the 7th Congressional District. Very big district, over 700,000 people in the district. And John, thank you for coming to the show today with regard to faith. And we're talking about education, but a lot of what I'm seeing in Democrat and Republican Party is a moving away from faith issues. I understand that because a lot of people in the United States of America have a different perspective on some things that used to be taboo 50 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago. It no longer has the stigma. For example, the Republican Party in the platform, you won't find the issue on marriage. You won't, marriage between one man and one woman. You won't find the language in there that is offensive to the LGBTQ plus community, and there are reasons for that. So where faith is concerned, what about you? And you're thinking you're a licensed minister. I didn't know that off air. You were talking to me about that. I think that I think the thinking or the rationale for a lot of people is if we're going to get votes, we kind of have to compromise and kind of move away from some things if we're going to get votes. What is your feeling on that?
Yeah. Thanks for asking. I'm a licensed minister with the Disciples of Christ and United Church of Christ. And a licensed minister is not like an ordained or, a licensed minister, you have to be called. So if your church wanted me to come be the minister at your church, you would call me specifically for that church. Then I could be your minister. I've done that a couple times. I do a lot of weddings, funerals for friends and people that I know. But as far as the faith goes, you're right. There's this Christian nationalism. It seems like we want to title and label people, and it used to be okay to do that, but now it seems like they use it as a negative. I don't even know really what a Christian nationalist is. I mean, I think I've heard 3 or 4 different kind of definitions for that. And my thing is like, this is, a lot of people say this is a would you say this is a democracy or a republic? What would you say, James? Is this,
I think we still have a democracy.
Right. Well, I
Yeah.
think it's more like a kingdom. And before you go, hey, we don't need a king, but you think about it, who is the king of the kingdom? That's Jesus.
Mhm.
And that's who, if we serve Jesus, it's not a party. It's actually, our creator. And that's what we're supposed to do. So my morning prayer is, what can I do to help build the kingdom today, God? And then my evening prayer is one day closer to meeting you.
Mhm.
And if we fill in that time, because we just have our time is just
Yeah.
a blink
Yeah. Not long.
in eternity. If you believe that sort of thing, I think what has happened though, that we've had a lot of Christians, I'd rather call myself a disciple of Jesus, not a Christian,
Mhm.
because that thing is the term Christian has been watered down to, they're self-righteous. You got the Westboro Baptist Church that goes after people. I just don't think that's what Christian is. Christian is about love,
Mhm.
and it's about loving your neighbor, and it's about serving the Lord.
Yeah, be like Christ.
Yeah, and it's tough. That's a tough sled,
Yeah.
and we're not gonna make it. But it doesn't mean we keep trying it. So that's what I try to bring in my service. We live in an underserved neighborhood, and God said you always have the poor with you, and
That's interesting. You say you live in an underserved neighborhood because most people wouldn't think that white people live in underserved neighborhoods.
So it's like Dave Chappelle says, I'm living with the poor whites.
Mhm.
That's how he describes. He grew up with the poor whites, but it's blue collar. We have no sidewalks. We have no roads. I offered to put the sidewalks in and pay for them, and city said, "Oh, you can't do that." I said, "Well, you do it." We don't have the money. I said, "Well, let me do it." And we went back and forth, and we still don't have any sidewalks. And we don't need speed bumps on our roads because you can't drive fast enough on them to get to go because they're awful. And it's basically a neglected area. And it was around about the same time Speedway was, where we moved from to there. And they had that little thing that's 2.5 mile track there, and automotive business, and you can see how they thrive. And they are actually separate from Indianapolis. And their roads are good and clean, and they have all sorts of fun stuff over there. Not so much in Mars Hill. We've been there about 10 years when we started the art center, community center there, and then people said, "You need to live where you serve."
Mhm.
So then we ended up moving there, and I love it. I mean, basically a bricklayer, and our neighbors are great. And we want to do the best for them. And when we bought that building 10 years ago, there was probably 20 or 30 houses for sale for under $30,000. And, kids not out in the street, it was pretty rough. There was some killings from drugs, and it was pretty rough. And then as we fixed it up, people said, "You need to live where you serve." So we found a house, heroin squatters had been in it, totally redid it. But in that time period, it's been slow, but in that time period, kids start coming out into the streets, people start moving in. Now we have hardly any houses for sale, and I think the lowest one I saw was 140,000. So we're doing something over there. And if you look at the homicide map of Indianapolis, you see all those red dots.
Mhm.
There's none over at our area. So I don't know what the secret, I guess the magic bullet is on that, but I think it's just getting in there and doing the work. And we didn't come in and say, "We're going to save this area." We came in and said, "What do you need?" And I think that's what I look at as this opportunity to become the congressman. I want to go out in Washington D.C. and I want people to say, "That's John Schmitz. He represents District 7. That's one of the best districts in the whole country.
Mhm.
We want to be like them." And I want to be able to serve the people to that point where they want to get excited about our city, because it takes more. Government can't do it. James, government can't do it. We have got to get people motivated. And that's why I like to think about myself. I'm a motivator. I'll come out in your community. I'll come out there and clean up or whatever. I like to go, if somebody says, "Well, come to our event." A lot of times I'll sign up to go help volunteer. Bates Hendricks Street Fest a couple weeks ago. I signed up to volunteer, helped them put signs together to volunteer. And they're all like, "Wow." But that's what they shouldn't say wow. That's what's required of us. That's what we're supposed to do. We should be expected to do that, not wow, look. So, those are the type of little things that you do intentionally that get folks excited about things and get them want to make their neighborhood better. It's gotten to the point now where if we have someone shot almost on a daily basis, somebody's shot.
Mhm.
And, used to one politician would go out and at least visit with the family, or at least we don't have that anymore. It's just, we're numb to it. And until we can bring that awareness to all these issues and have somebody that really cares, that gets in there and shows people that you care, I just don't think we're just gonna keep having the same thing. It's gonna get worse.
All right, talking with John Smits, the candidate for Congressional District 7. If you have questions for him in the next few minutes, before we have to let him go, 317-972-3008, 317-972-3008. John, last question I have for you. Should you win, what would you hope to accomplish in the first year?
Well, I probably wouldn't be Speaker of the House the first year, but that second year, I probably can get some stuff done. But before you go, we were talking about the snow and all that. So if you were to cut a persimmon seed in half, there's either a fork or a spoon in it. And so this is an almanac or some. So I saw a post where there's somebody cut like 12 of them in half and had all spoons. So if you want snow this year in Indianapolis, you may get your wish. So I don't know.
I'm not wishing for it.
Well, I thought I saw a little smile on your face. That was radio when you.
I'm
put snow.
smiling because it hasn't.
Oh, okay, all right, me too, because I actually work outside, so we've had some mild winters,
Yeah.
and that helps me. But I would like, I would like to be able to be listened to out there, and I say, and lead by an example. And uh, it's one of those things that people say, "Oh, you can't get anything," but if you can't, or you can't beat Carson, or if you can't, this defeatist attitude is what I just can't do. I know I'm an underdog, but you know what? That makes me fight even harder.
Mhm.
It makes me even fight harder. And then once I win that position, politicians are going to say, "I can't work as much as that guy. I can't get all that thing done. I'm not as creative as that guy."
Mhm.
And I think that's one of the things that I would bring to this position is creativity, energy, enthusiasm, cheering people on, all those things that I think people will really grab onto. I think it's infectious.
All right, got some callers. Let's go with Larry. Larry, good afternoon.
Larry Bond.
I believe that's what he's saying. We'll take this next one. Praise him. Should have the first one here.
All right, Larry. Thanks for your call and comment. Deborah, welcome to the program. Welcome.
Well, I didn't say he didn't do anything, but I just have not seen him on the campaign trail one time. Well, other than at his job fair, at the Democrat State Convention, and at the Hobnob. I've requested a meeting with him for a year and a half as a constituent, and he refused to meet with me. So other than that, I mean, yeah. What's that? No, he wouldn't meet with me. He sent Jessica Garcia to talk to me about that, and did not, he would not meet with me. So you can take that. No, they just phone called. Greg Pence's staff came and met with me, but he didn't. It was about the floodplain and the flood maps because they're getting redrawn this week or this month, or excuse me, this year. So, and at the very least, I'm a community leader, and to me, I just found it disrespectful. So, I mean, you can take whatever you want to take away from that, but I tell folks, I say, well, he's done this for that. I will do that and more for you. I just know that's my work ethic. You're not going to get shortchanged if he does not get reelected. You will have more and you will have better. He refuses to debate as well. He just sent us, we've asked him since July about doing a debate, and he basically came on. He tried to do a Facebook Live on Facebook last Thursday, could not get on, went over to Instagram and said that he would meet with me. And then or did do a debate or town hall or what, I don't care what it is. Let's sit down face to face and talk about the issues. And he refuses to do that. Yeah, a lot of people are going, Well,
Well, he'll be coming on to talk about it real soon. Thank you, Deborah, for your call and comment.
maybe we could get James to do the moderation on the debate if you can get him to do it.
I don't know, but Anonymous, welcome to the program. Mhm.
Y'all can read it, but do you do what the Bible says? Now, I don't care what nobody said. All this hate on. I'm old school. My generation paid the price for y'all to even be in the bubble. Dr. King laid his life down. You got a man sitting up there running for president line every day. It's not funny. It's not funny. And even this gentleman here, you can read the Bible, but this is what it says. And the one thing it says is love people. And it's a lack of love. And even as this minister here speak out against, you know what? I cannot believe what's going on. And my grandmother and great grandmother was born slaves. My mother was born free, but the kid, my brother went to Vietnam. He didn't have a choice. And even Andre Carson, he's a good guy. I know what he is. Her name is down there on that field because love all people. Everybody don't love everybody. And you know what? Money, the love of money is the root of the evil. And you ain't gonna tell me even him sitting there trying to talk negative against Andre. I don't believe it. And third, I wonder I can brag if I think of what my brother had to go through. And you got people sitting up here lying. Just lying every day. Then my uncle died in 1981, I can even tell you how to don't work with God bless you. Richard. We out here for evil.
Yeah.
Got a lot of third flags. God bless.
All right, Anonymous, thank you for your call and comment. And
Do I get to make a comment about
yeah,
that?
go ahead.
And I'm sorry about that. And that's just the perception of what's been, sort of marketing. This is a market, everything, we're voting for symbols anymore. I tell folks, if I get elected, I'm gonna hold whoever's president accountable. If it's not good for the seventh district, I don't care who it is. I don't care if Trump wins this thing, I'll be the first one on him about this because I agree, he's a divisive figure. And we need to come together. And for your caller that just came in, I just want to clarify, I read the Bible and I do my best to do that. I'm out serving every Sunday,
Yeah, and I want to be clear. I certainly, when people come on my show, I always research candidates. And John Smith, who is here, who's running for the seventh congressional district, and anybody can do this. I mean, that's democracy. If somebody want to run against the incumbent, they can do that. Congressman Carson has done a lot, and I've heard people say, "Oh, he hasn't done anything," but he has. And when you research it, he has done a lot in the seventh district since he has been the congressman. He is a good guy. As far as showing up at different events, there's a lot of events. I see him at events, but of course, in your experience, you said you don't. So, but my question to previous caller to John was, what can you do to build up on what Congressman Carson has done? That's what I would like to see in America, that we look at candidates or people who are incumbents and we say, well, they have done something. And I've done that for Republican and Democrats because I don't play the games. But I want to see what you have done. And Congressman Carson has done a lot since joining Congress in 2008, following his mother for the 7th Congressional District. He works really, really hard. And John has indicated there's some things that he will do to do better. So if we get better than what has been done, which is not to say that the incumbent has not done well. But if you can do better than that, then the 7th district will be even better. But Congressman Carson is going to come on at some point too to talk about what he is doing. So I want to get these other callers in here, John.
One real quick on that. I don't want people to say, when you say do nothing or do, I think there's a lot of complacency when you're in something for 16 years. Like I said, he has not been campaigning, not been coming out. He takes your vote for granted. He takes, he just assumes you're going to go vote for him. And, it's time to push our incumbents. At the very least, I'm going to push the next person to do better. So that's the goal.
All right, let's go to Guy. Welcome to the program, Guy. Turn your radio down just a little bit and getting some feedback on this end. Much better, thank you.
What we can do if we lose, he seems to be a type of person that's interested in this government, contrary to what the presidential candidate representing the Republican Party this year seems to be about himself. But, what would you have to be elected if you do not
Oh, that's a great question. You get so caught up in all of the things going on. There's just a lot of moving parts. I have no paid staff. We have the Republican Party is not funding my campaign at all. They're not even supporting me. They still have Jen Pace down as the person running for this position. So, and I've had people follow me along. I tried to run for mayor in 19 as an independent. I got all my signatures. They threw me off the ballot. I said, hey, I'm not quitting. I ran for state rep, same sort of thing, a heavy Democrat area. We weren't getting the service that we needed over in our area. I lost that. And then do this. So I sort of joke and say I'm losing my way up. but I don't know. I think that the next move is I just keep serving my community and hoping it gets better. But it gets so frustrating because I don't have the authority to do what, I put over $500,000 in Mars Hill in my projects. And, that's my money. That's not, that's not tax money. That's like my retirement. People think I'm a rich guy or whatever, but no, this is my retirement. Now, fortunately, since property values have come up, I can sell my things and get my money back. But when I did this was just, you weren't going to get your money back. There's houses for 30,000. You're not going to get your money back. But, part of that is what happens. But I like to build things. Best thing I like to build is relationships. And I would like to say that I want to meet the 738,000 people that you mentioned. Before the 2 years is over, I want to meet every single one of them. I kid you not. I'll do it. I got the energy to do it.
All right. We gotta thank you for being with us, John. All the best to you in your candidacy. We hope all the best. Thank you for coming out.
Hey, thanks, James. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We gotta take a quick break. We'll be back after this.
Yeah, that's pretty much that. I knew it was Larry Vaughn when you said Larry.
All right.
I like Larry. He's all right.
Hey family, it's Erica Campbell.
Would you like a copy of this here? Of this show?
Every day.
Yeah.
What's a good email?
Schmitz happens 7 at Gmail. Yeah, SCHMITZ happens 7 email. Yeah, that's all. It's catchy.
Absolutely, we'll keep on faith walking. Love talking. Enjoy living on Better Mornings.
On Praise AM 1310 and 95.1 FM, Andy's Inspiration Station.
We're going abroad for the first time in years to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spain. Yes, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Presenting A Game Flings Love Story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Game Flings. Try Game Flings with Oxyboost and Febreze.
You know what the scripture says? He that I just want to tell you that God is speaking, but are you listening? I want you to make sure that you tune in every night with me for the Nightly Spirit. On Praise AM 1310, 95.1 FM, Indy's Inspiration Station.
All right, welcome back to Unity in the Community. And today's burger day for me. I think I'm going to do a gyro instead. They're a little bit healthier. Anyway, Bob, thank you for holding. Welcome to the program. Great, thank you. How are you?
I want to thank you for giving us folks the opportunity to stop by this great program every weekend.
Welcome.
Your guest here on their day, I can honestly say I met him on different occasions, even with you in presence when I talked to him and you would meet. I find John a very upfront, very transparent, very honorable gentleman, and the best to him. You speak about his corner earlier, and I feel told Mr. Carson that he can be sometimes inconsistent, and he can also disappear at times. Anyway, so I got in with that. You have a great weekend and everything, and the best to you as always.
All right, thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. And I think that Congressman Carson will be joining us before November election day. I reached out to his office, and they were more than happy to accommodate. John Smits reached out to come on, and that's kind of how it works. If the candidates reach out, or if we reach out, then hopefully they come on, and we've not had a problem with that. So, um, I believe in positive politics, and I hope that, and some say that politics is a blood sport now, and to some degree it is. It is disappointing at the national level when you see presidential candidates going back and forth. Certainly, former President Donald Trump has been the worst at it with regard to the things that he says and how he says the things that he says. Which I remember when he ran the first time, and he would be on Twitter. It was Twitter then, now it's X. And the tweets that would go out, they were just really mean and nasty things. But somehow he resonated with a lot of people who voted for him back then. And he hasn't changed that even after the assassination attempt. Of course, he was saying, people need to be nicer to one another. And that didn't last for him a few hours before he went right back to doing it. So a lot of them on the national level are like that. I have not known Congressman Carson to be like that. I have worked with him. He's my friend, and we have done a lot of things together with youth jobs and things like that. He's always been accommodating. These folks some folks say you don't see them. I think everybody should run for public office. Well, not everybody, but people who seem to think that people are not doing a good job or not doing this, that, or the other. It is not easy to obtain the office. It is not easy to campaign for the office. It's a lot that goes into it, and should you obtain it, it's a lot to retain it. But we'll see what happens. 317-972-3008, 317-972-3008. Something that we'll be talking about hopefully next week is the wealth gap and economic disparities with regard to Black wealth in America. There is some energy building around that issue. Black wealth currently, I think in Indiana, and I'll have to go back and check this. So this is really off the top of my head. Black wealth is about 16% of white wealth. And there are some folks who would like to see a change in that and get it up to 50%. And I think that's important, especially for Black families, to close that wealth gap. And that's going to take some doing. That's going to take some creative ideas. And I just wanted to put that out there to get you thinking about that. And we'll talk more about it on next week. But early voting has started. When I came in, there was a line at the City County building, which is a good thing to have lines going out the building for this presidential election. And they're encouraging people to vote early. There has been, and I think this was on the national news media, ISIS allegedly has been planning attacks on voting sites on election day. So they have been encouraging people to vote early. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Some folks got arrested around that issue, but it's easier to vote early. There's just not a lot of pressure. It's not the day of. A lot of people like that tradition of voting on the day of the election and all that. But if you can vote early, I would also encourage you to do that. It's less stressful. You have time. You're not, you're not. It's just a lot easier to do. And there are a lot of early voting sites around Indianapolis. You can go to indy.gov. You can go to the Indy's city website, and all of this information is going to be there for you. So if you have a phone that has the internet, most phones do. If you have a computer, then you can go online and you can find out where you can vote. And it's important that you do. Do not neglect that responsibility, especially Black folks. do not neglect that responsibility. A lot of people gave their lives, suffered, and sacrificed so that we can vote and learn about the people that you're voting for. Check them out and don't just take somebody's word for it. You can go check them out on theissues.org and other sites that are available now. Some of these AI sites, Chat GPT, and I think the other one is Bob. I think it is, or was it Bird or Bob? AJ, this one is it Bard or something like that. I think for Google. But you can find out about candidates in a short period of time. I know on Chat GPT you can, if you put their name in, that prompt that name in, it'll tell you all about that person, how they have voted on issues that affect your life. And then research the party platforms. You got the Democratic Party platform out there. The Republican Party's platform is out there now. Donald Trump has a platform, Agenda 45. And then, of course, there's the Project 2025, which is the Heritage's Foundation, the Heritage Foundation. That's their platform and what they're hoping a Republican president will do in the first 100 days of his presidency if he should win. So there's a lot out there that you can check out that where you just aren't, where you're not just taking somebody's word for it or voting for somebody because somebody said, well, go vote for that person. Want to be informed voters. That's all for now. Hopefully you have a good rest of the day from all of us here at Praise AM 1310 95.1 Indian Inspiration Station. We like you. We love you and you make us smile. Have a great rest of the day.
You hear that?
Right.
That silence?
You could have used that to